All passengers survive crash landing as plane flips at Toronto Airport. 2 hours ago. Share. Save. Nadine Youssef. BBC News, Toronto Pearson Airport. Alex Smith. BBC News, Washington, D.C. 041. Watch. Passenger films his escape from upside-down crashed plane. All 80 people on board a plane which crashed and overturned while landing in Toronto have survived, officials said. The Delta Airlines flight from Minneapolis skidded along the runway with flames visible, and it came to a halt upside down as firefighters came to the rescue. Survivors said they were suspended upside down in their seats and had to release themselves, dropping onto the ceiling before clambering out onto the snow-covered tarmac. 18 people were injured, but only a small number are thought to be seriously hurt, and investigators are looking into what caused the crash. There were 76 passengers and 4 crew on board the 16-year-old CRJ-900 aircraft, made by Canada's Bombardier Company. In an evening briefing, Deborah Flint of the Greater Toronto Airports Authority called the response by emergency personnel textbook and credited them with helping ensure no loss of life. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration said the plane was operated by Delta's subsidiary Endeavour Air. Delta said the incident happened at about 14:15 Eastern Time, 19:15 Greenwich Mean Time, on Monday. Anadolu. Steve Russell/Getty Images. 22 passengers were Canadian nationals and the rest were multinational, Ms. Flint said. The airport was closed after the incident, but flights into and out of Toronto Pearson resumed at about 1700 hours local time. Canada's Transportation Safety Board, TSB, said it was working to gather information and assess the occurrence. 2 runways will remain closed for several days for investigation, and passengers have been told to expect some delays. Toronto Pearson Fire Chief Todd Aitken said, "The runway was dry and there was no crosswind conditions." That contradicted earlier reports of wind gusts of more than 64 kilometers per hour, 40 miles per hour, and a crosswind. Video footage shared on social media shows people clambering out of the overturned aircraft, with fire crews spraying it with foam. Passenger John Nelson told CNN that there was no indication of anything unusual before landing. "We skidded on our side, then flipped over on our back," he said, adding that there was a big fireball out the left side of the plane. Like Mr. Nelson, Ashley Zook took immediately to social media to express her disbelief, filming herself saying, "I was just in a plane crash. Oh my God." Of the 18 people taken to hospital, a child, a man in his 60s and a woman in her 40s suffered the worst injuries, said Ontario Air Ambulance Service Orange. After the crash, the airport's arrival and departure board showed scores of delays and cancellations to flights. Some passengers told the BBC that they were now stuck in Toronto for days. James and Andrea Turner were in customs, located right before the departure gates, when they were suddenly told to evacuate. They got rid of everybody from customs to security, and then put everybody back to the general area, James said, adding that the departures hall was packed as a result. Toronto Pearson Airport had been experiencing weather-related delays over the last few days, with heavy snowfall and freezing temperatures battering parts of Ontario. 2 storms, one on Wednesday and one on Sunday, covered the city with a total of 30 to 50 centimeters, 11.8 to 19.6 inches of snow. The BBC's U.S. partner CBS reports that there was light snow falling at the time of the crash. Earlier on Monday, the airport warned that frigid temperatures and high winds were moving in. It said a busy day was expected, with airlines catching up after this weekend's snowstorm. The crash is at least the 4th major aviation incident in North America in the past month. The worst was a deadly in-air collision between a passenger plane and a military helicopter near Washington, D.C., which killed all 67 people on board.